Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the How They Did It podcast. And right here, we're with the co-founder of Lifetime Transformations, Dimitri. So Dimitri is coming on this show, and this is a special episode because I want to bring Dimitri on the show. It's the before they how they did it because we're going in reverse for this one. This Dimitri has been building out this program, as a lot of you guys been knowing. I've been hinting on Instagram about it a long time. We've been doing the GLP1 Blueprint. We're going to really try to get the most out of these amazing medications and get people to transform in a way that not only gets them the results, gets them the numbers on the scale that goes down, but helps increase their muscle mass while they're doing it, fix all of their lipid panels or metabolic markers. We want them to be the healthiest, best version they could be. And Dimitri, who's the co-founder, is like, you know what? We're doing it for all these other people. Why don't you do it for me? And I said, that's a great idea. Why don't we do it and do it live on the podcast? Dimitri, thanks for coming on.
Of course, brother. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to get started.
So before we get too deep into this, why don't you walk me through what your general habits were um, before you entered this? I know there's been a couple times in your life you've gone back and forth trying to get into the fitness trend. What's kind of held you back in the past? And what really is you think is the differentiator in this time when we're going in?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, I mean, I've always been struggling with my weight. I mean, it's never been like huge. I've topped the scales at like 220 at one point, so I'm like 5'10". Um, so a little bit above what I'd want to be, and it wasn't like a muscular weight either. It was definitely like, you know, belly fat, love handles. I get it a lot in the face too. I'm actually a little chubby right now too, as you can see. So it's never been like a situation where I felt like I was obese, but I was definitely uncomfortable to the point where I would have trouble breathing. I mean, I've had like bad sleep apnea too in the past. I actually got surgery for my sinuses to kind of clear that up, but it's still like, there's times when, especially when I'm eating heavy and, I gain those extra 10 pounds, like I'll catch myself breathing heavy. Like I'll catch myself like, oh man, I can't get up these stairs. I'm not sleeping well. Um, as you could see, like you'll see like some of my test results as well. Like I skew pretty high in the dessert department. So I really I want to make a change. I know we've been doing a lot of good work for people. Like recently, I've tried to cut back a lot on stuff that's been doing me damage. So I feel like right now I'm probably in a decentish weight. I'm like 189 or so, which is still in my view, it's like heavy for me. It's just I'm just struggling. Like I'm just kind of tired all the time. Like I just don't have a lot of energy. Like you said, I've been like yo-yoing between like exercise like bursts and then like I'll fall off and I'll be like I don't like this. So really, I think I want to do this mostly because obviously my health. I'm 43 years old now almost. Time is now. So if I were to make like a big change and I want to make a lasting change, now would be it. And just take it seriously. Hope that
Yeah,
kind
I
of
could see. I think that really you've been in a situation for a while now, because obviously we know each other like personally. We're friends for 20 plus years, and we're also business partners. But you've been in a situation now for a while where you've been kind of on the edge of making that next step. And you brought up a lot of good points and a lot of things that like the one thing you didn't bring up a lot, and I think it's important, is you didn't bring up this scale too much. Like you're 189, that might be big for me, and that might be big. That's not the main purpose. The main purpose was you're feeling lethargic, using my own words here, but you're not feeling good, you're not feeling excited about your fitness and where you're currently standing. You have a little too much fat, and what we're going to get into right now is your blood results, well, not terrible. Not terrible, and like I don't like the fear monger, but there was things that like at 43, as a man, it's important to consider.
yeah.
Pause. We're gonna redo the thing. Let's have it. Yep. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. restart. I'm saying that because then it's going to make the editing do it. All right. So this is what we're really considering is actually what we're seeing in the blood panels at 43. As a man, we are at higher risk of cardiovascular disease. We've all had people within our family that have suffered from these kind of conditions, even if they're, one or two family members separate from us and from our immediate family. But we've all know people with it. And so I wanted to go over a couple of these things. So one,
Yeah.
we saw that your total cholesterol was 245.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah.
That's not what we wanted.
Yeah.
That's definitely not what we wanted.
I mean,
On the good,
sorry. It's just it definitely skews higher in my family too.
yeah.
My dad's on like Lipitor and Metoprolol and all those, for like blood pressure and cholesterol. So it definitely skews higher. But when I saw it, I was I was freaked out. I've never seen it that high. Like it's not like I go and do blood tests every like year or something, right? Like honestly, my last real doctor's visit was maybe like 3 years ago. Um, but it's never been that high. Like it's been like 160 or something, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty high. Like 245 would freak me out like entirely.
Okay.
Like I have to say, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to cut.
Now, on the good news of this,
Yeah,
your HDL was 67, which is great. Like, you know, pretty solid there. Triglycerides 158, probably slightly a little bit high for my liking.
yeah,
Uh,
desserts right there.
Especially, yeah, your triglycerides especially are something that sometimes your LDL might be up, but if you get a little bit of a deeper blood panel and you see that your ApoB and your LPA is not that high, LPA is mostly genetic, but
Hmm.
if your ApoB and LPA is not, it might not be that big of a deal and something to keep an eye on, but not something that we should be overly worried about. Triglycerides, we definitely don't want that to be going up.
Yeah,
So triglycerides were high, but not insanely high again. We're at like 158. We really want these to be under 150. You know, um, I would probably rather see these in like the 120 ranges. LDL was high, 149. And these things all very much correlate with lifestyle choices. Like, I know your diet pretty well, pretty intricately.
not
Like,
tough. It's American standard fare. You know what I mean? Like all
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
classics, pizza, burgers, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, there's not like a lot of control for your fiber. Your protein intake varies up and down, from day to day, how much carbohydrates and fat. It's a lot of eating out. So a lot of the food choices, are just difficult to make the right food choices. You're also in New York City, which, that doesn't make anything easier. Uh, but yeah, so all that kind of plays out. That being said, your total cholesterol HDL ratio is good, 3.7, not bad at all. Your non-HDL cholesterol is 178, I think. Yep, that is on the higher side, definitely. Um, I'm of course some of these things could be genetic, right? How much of it's genetic and how much of it's not, it's hard to tell.
right,
But I'm willing to bet that when we get on a diet, we increase your fiber. We make sure you're getting like your omega 6s. We work with supplement needs, so you'll have all of the supplements from our GLP-1 packages, which we have also the heart stack to make sure that we're protecting your heart and we're protecting your microbiome with the probiotics. We're having everything in there already pre-made, so there's no thinking. You got the supplementation part of it down, and that's really the easy part of it, to be fair. But we give that part to you right away. I think we're also going to make some big changes in your diet. One, we're going to be more protein-heavy meals, especially now that you're going to be taking GLP-1s. That's going to be a big deal for us as far as like keeping our muscle mass on, trying to increase your fiber because it's so easy to under eat fiber. We have a fiber supplement within our GLP-1 package to make sure that it's covered to some point, but we don't want to only rely on it. So we'll probably be adding a few more fruits and vegetables into your diet than what were there before.
all right.
Uh,
It's not going to take much to actually make it more than it was before. Let me tell you. It's going to be pretty
yeah,
good. Yeah, but definitely no. That's yeah. I hear you.
It's one of those things that it's important. It's a weird situation because you said it. You weren't doing a lot of it before, and your blood work again isn't bad. But can we get better for sure? Now we're seeing like your urea is good, your creatine's good. Like your kidneys generally seem to be functioning really well. Um, your you have a pretty good your potassium levels are perfect. So yep, yeah, no, your calcium's perfect. Everything is mostly good. Um, you seem like you're metabolically really healthy for the most part. Testosterone isn't bad. It's still within normal ranges. It's at the lower end of a normal range. At 43, that's not completely uncommon. That being said, we do know that the more visceral fat you have and more belly fat that you have, it seems to drop testosterone down. So hopefully getting that weight down will help increase that slightly, just get you into a little more optimal range. And that might also improve some of that tired feeling. It will definitely improve the tired feeling just losing the weight because losing weight helps control like less lethargy, more movements easier. That even as having the less weight on you makes it more viable to go for longer walks, less likely to cause tendon issues, so on and so forth. But also potentially increasing your testosterone along with the weightlifting program that we're going to be adding into it. Now that's something I wanted to ask you about because you've kind of jumped into weightlifting in and out,
Yeah.
haven't been able to stay consistent.
Mhm.
What do you think the difference is this time that's going to keep you consistent from the other times?
Like I said before, when I saw the cholesterol level, I was kind of like shocked, I would say. But even before then, I'm just looking myself in the mirror and I'm like you said, I've done some weightlifting programs in the past. There was a period where I was pretty consistent for like 90 days or so, at one point. And, I was getting compliments, and my girlfriend was like, who are you? Because when we met, I was very like thin and everything like that. Like, so, the difference was measurable. The difference was visual. But realistically, like down when it comes down to it, I feel like health is the major factor for me. All right. Like, I've, I've noticed changes in my body obviously through time. Like my tolerance for exercise has really decreased, I would say, like cardiovascularly, just, off. And it's not like terrible or anything, but I've noticed a difference where before I was like, I'd walk, I'd jog like 2 miles. Now I won't be able to do that. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm winded. Like, what's going on? Like, just that and just feeling stronger in general, I think would be really nice. Yeah, I mean, visual obviously helps all the time. Like, like that's just a great like side benefit. But for me, really, when it comes down to it, I want to hit those healthy notes. I know that weightlifting really kind of helps you throughout your old age. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean that's really the main motivator for me. Um, and obviously we've been in contact for obviously like we've been friends for 20 years, but really speaking seriously about fitness together for a little over a year now. And just through everything that you've been talking about, all the research that we've been doing together, myself, like I've just felt like, man, I better get on this because this is obviously you can start training sometime in your later years. But if you have a good baseline earlier, it's not that early for me, obviously, like in my 40s, but it's not too late either, and I kind of feel like it'll never be too late, really, realistically. But I feel like the earlier I get to it, the better my, longevity and my results later on. It's just my feelings, like, you know what I mean? Like how I feel, like physically, emotionally, like, all that kind of stuff. So I think it all plays in.
Oh, for sure, 100%. And I think that you're in a situation now too that you're constantly around it, right? Like you're seeing client results. Like you're seeing our client Riyadh like go from like
Crazy.
being like yeah, like being like
Yeah.
20+% body fat to being like single digit body fat. And
Yeah.
obviously he's an outlier as far as how lean he
Let's
is.
hope
But
not, right? I mean,
yeah, you could, but you even getting somewhere into like the 10% or 12,
yeah, it would be huge.
15% body fat range is just like And we see so many of our clients like that. Like we see Joshua like gaining like 7, 8 pounds of muscle, and it's like,
Yeah.
whoa. Like I wonder like how much that has been like, wow, man, these guys are just doing, I'm helping, I'm an intricate part in providing this service to these clients, and they're getting the results from it. I'm not getting the results from the service I'm helping them provide. Like how much of that like
Oh, dude,
weighing
it
into
pisses
your
me off every day when I see it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I'll be putting together stuff on the website or just doing stuff on the back end, and I'll just be like, look at these transformations, man. Like, I know you produce results, obviously, right? Like, this is the reason why we even work together, honestly, because I know what, like, a top-notch trainer you are, obviously. So it's like, for me, it's like, man, like, I'm part of this company and I've been yo-yoing this whole time. Like, who do I think I am? You know what I mean? I gotta, if nothing else, I gotta represent us, better. But that being said, like I see it and I'm like, look at these great results. Like I could be in this guy's shoes, or in this woman's shoes, like just feeling better about myself, better physically, just all around, improvement in my lifestyle and I think for me, something I really want to take away from this, not only obviously the physical changes, but the food changes. I think I really want to get a handle on, just food discipline. And, I love food, right? We both do. Like, we've seen that through the years, right? Like, we've done our damage, right? But I kind of don't want to see food as like the event anymore. Like it angers me almost to think that like, I'll go out and my goal isn't just to like eat for nutrition, it's to just eat for pleasure all the time. Right? Like that's fine every now and again, but that's what it's become now for me, period. Like if it's, like every day it has to be something different and it can't even be in the same realm. Like it can't be Asian 2 times in a row kind of food, or it can't be Greek
Yeah.
2 times. Like it's like, what is this? Like, this is not. This is stupid. Like, I really have to get a handle on that. And I think, I've seen my parents too. Like my dad, he used to be a meat eater. Fast food junk, like pizza. Not like tremendously, but he always used to be heavy on the calories and the cholesterol, and the fatty foods. And now he's like totally changed. Like obviously, and him and my mom. So my mom, she something else that kind of hit me too was like she's pre-diabetic. Like so, and then my grandma was pre-diabetic, and my grandpa from my mother's side is pre-diabetic. So all these things are kind of coming together. It's like, there is a moment where your body's just, or your liver or your pancreas, they're just like, you know, thanks for the damage. So here's your results. Like, and there's really nothing you could do at that point. It's just management. I don't want to be in management. I want to be in prevention mode.
I think that's huge. It's super important. I think you touch on something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Because I think that's one thing, even for me, one reason I can relate to clients, because you know it, I'm that guy. Like I'm that guy. I'm going to the foodie. I'm gonna go like go to the biggest best place to eat in the town, and we're gonna go to town like for real. Like it's gonna be like a 3,000 calorie meal is gonna be on the light end. That's just before we get to dessert. You
Yeah.
know, I remember coming into New York and like every single day was like, Cheval, we're going to Cristo Steakhouse. Oh yeah, we're going to Joe's Dumplings. Oh, every day was another event of like what we're gonna go do. And while that is cool and fine, and I think could be a huge part of people's life, there is a game where I think a lot of people myself where it's like when you're just thinking how can I make this culinary experience the tastiest culinary experience every meal? That you are bound by that thought process to constantly be making not great food choices for your metabolic health, for your lipids, for your aesthetics, for
Yeah.
your physique. And one thing leads to another. Like if I know I'm coming to New York and we're like, listen, Tom, we're coming to New York, we're going to Joe's Dumplings, and then we'll go into Ellie's Cheesecake, and we might stop by Cat's on the way, just cause. Like that day, what's the chances my workout motivation, especially if I haven't built a really true consistent habit, is going to be up there. It's unlikely. I'm just probably going to write that day off as another day gone.
Mhm.
I'm going to eat an umpteen amount of calories, and that's fine one day. That's even fine a couple days. That might even be fine for like a vacation for a week.
Yeah.
But when it becomes part of your lifestyle, where it's kind of that, even if on a smaller scale, where it's like, well, I had dumplings, I'm gonna go to Cats today. It's like, well, I had a 2,000 calorie dumpling day. Now I'm gonna go have 1,000 something calorie Cats deli day on just my one meal plus whatever else I'm eating throughout the day. Your motivation for working out, being in shape, you're not doing a bunch of other things that you know you need to be doing, and it's hard to be like completely contextualize those two things separately, you know?
Yeah, and I think too, and like that's not to say that healthy food isn't tasty. Like
Yeah.
I've eaten healthy food that's really delicious, right?
Yeah.
The unfortunate part about these kinds of foods that we're talking about here, at least in my experience, is like if I eat a high fat food and then I eat a dessert after, right? And then I'm eating like fried food right after that because I need a post dessert snack, right? Like something crazy like that. I can't go from that to a really tasty grilled chicken breast and be satisfied. It's
Yeah.
almost like I'm stuck in this mindset that's, oh, it's got to be full savory, full fat, umami like everywhere. Like it's got to be over the top delicious and outdo the previous meal. Otherwise, it doesn't count, and I'm not satisfied. Like that's how I feel. I'm trapped a lot of the times in these kinds of meal. It's like a meal trap, really. I mean, that's what it is to me. Like, it's like, oh, fat trap, sugar trap.
Yeah.
There it is.
It,
Tasty
I
food,
think, man,
grilled.
you know what it is? It truly is this. Like, I see this like I'm a flexible dieter. I believe in that, like, yeah, as long as we can fit it within your macros and we're getting all your micronutrients, overall, that's fine. But I think there's a practical piece of advice that goes in with this. Like, going from, you know, like you said, high-end sushi restaurants and Cat's Deli and all this delicious food to even a decent chicken breast and vegetables and rice, or even a nice stir fry, or even, a good piece of fish, which is not bad. It doesn't compare. And then you kind of have like an immediate comparison.
Yeah.
Well, if 80% of your diet truly is like, especially in the beginning, I really think in the beginning, it's important to make your meals tasty but not too delicious. Mike Israel has a thing about this. Like, you want it to be good enough that you're like, I can't. It's not like oh my, I can't. I gotta shove this into my mouth somehow. Ugh. You don't want it to be that bad,
Yeah.
but you also don't want it to be like, man, I need 14 more servings.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, with the GLP-1s, a lot of that food noise gets cut out. So it takes a lot of the heavy willpower pressure to beat it. But we have a common friend that's taking a GLP-1 and he wasn't on our program.
Hmm.
And his first reaction was, I'm on the GLP-1. I basically hacked the system. I don't have to eat. And he didn't really lose that much weight.
No.
Like, nowhere near there's enough weight considering because he didn't use it as a catalyst to push to go into like the real good diet mode. Which then, by the way, if he was in the good diet mode, like we saw when I did it, we've seen when our clients have done it, it's like, oh, now this is like dieting on easy mode.
Mhm.
I'm eating my chicken breast and vegetables. I'm full halfway through. I don't have this overarching craving to eat the end of the world. And then I know, you add in a cheeseburger here and there, and you're like, yeah, great. I can only eat half the cheeseburger because I'm full. And that was awesome. And I'm more than happy to go back into my chicken breast and vegetables. That's the majority of what I'm eating anyway.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Yeah, I think it's going to definitely help me too. One of the biggest challenges that I think I face, and like a lot of probably people that it's kind of in a similar situation to me face, is snacking, constant snacking. Um, I work from home a lot, obviously, right? Because we have that online business, so it's it's a situation where sometimes I'll be sitting around like just doing some work, and I'll be like, what's in the fridge? Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like I could eat like, a donut or this or that. It's like, oh boy, like, you know what I mean? And then the biggest offender of all, which I have to say, is late night dessert runs. to the
Right.
24-hour supermarket around the corner, right? So
Yeah.
that's just something I want to avoid, and I think I'll definitely be helped out that way. It's something too where I've noticed in my past. It's not like the GLP-1 is just going to be the end all and it's the only thing that's going to bring me there. I've been there before where I've literally quit sugar. Like I was on a 3 month keto kick at one point. In the first week, it was terrible, but after that, it was almost like. And then I slowly reintroduced desserts, but I didn't even want them. Like I'm in a place now where it's just like, I want that cake. I want that donut. Like, you know what I mean? And like helping myself get over that hump again, which is just making it that much easier. That's the real biggest food noise I get. Like I said, is like dessert. You know what I mean? And like that's the biggest food noise I get. And that always hits me for some reason at night. And it's the worst time to be eating that stuff. And it's just terrible for you. So yeah, I definitely think that's going to help me a lot from that angle. And I think that by itself might, you know, drop me 5 pounds on its own. You know what I mean? The way my body is right now, for sure, and the way my habits are. But yeah, man, no, you know, I could definitely see it.
Yeah, I think that like there's gonna be that, and another thing that happens is one thing why I really recommend anyone to be doing strength training at any point. Strength training, resistance training, hypertrophy training. I really care a lot less about the training modality that you use, as long as you're using resistance and pushing the muscle. For the majority of people, unless you have very specific hypertrophy goals or very specific power goals or very specific sports specific goal that might be like you're a fighter or you're a soccer player or some other nature, if you're just trying to get in shape, we're talking about Dimitri right now is, he's basically building his company alongside me, and that's his main focus in life. But he wants to be a healthy, fit person. So, what exercise modality is best for you is kind of irrelevant. The point I'm making, the point I'm making is that resistance training can change how metabolically flexible you are as well. Because once we start lifting weights consistently, and the GLP-1s cut the food noise, but it doesn't make you not Dimitri all of a sudden. So it's not as if there won't be a time when, your girlfriend comes over, you guys are sitting down, a movie's on, she wants ice cream or something, and you want ice cream.
All right.
Uh, you're gonna have the ice cream, but there's two things that you're gonna help. One, the GLP-1s probably make you eat less ice cream. Super good. That's
Yeah.
number one, the greatest thing. Second part is if you had lifted weights that day, like you had went to the gym, we did a hypertrophy workout, you hit like back and buys or something, and your muscles are ready to store some glycogen. You're more metabolically flexible. More of that glucose is going to be absorbed, turned into glycogen, put into the muscles, instead of being excess glucose in the body turned into stored fat. Lifting weights helps that process, and it's can change how you handle food. And so many times you've seen it. Like we've been around friends of ours that are more muscular than we are, or maybe not than I am right now, but than I was in the past.
Yeah.
And they were just able to eat more cookies than we were and get less fat. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I was
We
six
were
pack at
all,
the end of the day. I was super jealous. Like, you know, that,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, you'd be like, oh, this guy looks like this guy got like, oh, we went to the movie theater, we got gummy bears, we all ate gummy bears, we all ate some McDonald's afterwards, but he still looks a lot better than we do. We look like we gained an extra 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't have the muscle mass and metabolic flexibility, we're more primed to be stored for that excess energy to be stored as fat. And I think one of the things that's why I'm so pressed on the GLP-1 uh, blueprint is weight resistance training of some kind. And again, that could be in multiple forms. And that's like for you to decide with your coach. Are going to have a more of broader range, just a more ready set program for everyone to use, just so they have it as long with the community as well. But if you do have your one-on-one coach, you can design that directly for you. Um, Dimitri, we're coming up on the 30-minute mark, and we're going to try to do this once every few weeks, kind of update, see where's Dimitri at, what's he doing. Our goal here is to watch him drop weight, watch him get the results right in front of us. And I think you guys are gonna be super, super excited to see this because if you are considering this and you are considering getting on the GLP-1 and you are considering truly optimizing that time while you're taking that medication, because you're taking the financial burden of taking the medication, you are taking the medication, which does have some side effects of potential nausea, GI issues, stuff like that nature that you're going to have to at least monitor. So you're putting a medication in your body. Are you going to use it to the best of its ability? Are you going to use it to the maximum? And that's what we're going to really try to do here with Dimitri is we're going to try to use it to the maximum. We want him to get the most out of every day that he's using these GLP-1s. And that's what we're going to do. Dimitri, thanks for coming on the pod. It was great to have you. Really excited about the journey.
Same here. Thanks, brother. Talk soon.
Talk soon. That's a pod.
All right. Your camera went out at the end, by the way.